We're now over at the pet hospital, and what came first, the lodge or the pet hospital?
Believe it or not, they both came at the same time. This hospital was built in about 1988, and originally the hospital and boarding facility were together in the property next door. And then as times changed and the area grew, the hospital grew with it, and they built this hospital. And we've recently outgrown this hospital, so we have a new one coming. And so now our lodge is next door, and the hospital is here. And in a short period, we'll be just one door over.
And you offer complete veterinary care here?
That's correct. You can get vaccines and heartworm prevention, surgery, intensive care services, emergency services. Golf Rose is open 24 hours a day for all types of services. During the day, the doctors see patients by appointment and emergency, and then in the evening hours and overnight on emergency only.
And as we've been going through the tour, you've been giving us some guidelines on pet health and care, and you actually have a chip?
A microchip, and this, along with vaccines, I believe are probably one of the most important things you can do for your pet. At some point in every pet's life with their family, they're probably going to be away from their owner once or twice. By mistake, as we talked about earlier, maybe the gate gets left open or just by accident. We just don't know how things happen. And I believe that these microchips are some of the best things we can do to get our pets back home when they're lost. And it's a tiny little chip, and it's administered just like a vaccine with a hypodermic needle, and it's placed underneath their skin. And there's just a number on this microchip.
So is there a chip in there?
There is a chip inside that needle right there. And the way we find out what that chip is we use readers like this. And most police cars have readers like this. So let's say your dog is lost and someone finds your dog and calls the police department. A police officer can wave this wand over your dog's back and find the chip number and then call Avid. When you get a microchip in your dog, you register the microchip with a company called Pet Track, or the manufacturer of the microchip, with your name and phone number and address, and the police officer can call them and say, whose dog is this? And they'll say, it's Pat Casler's, and this is where she lives, and they can drive your dog back home. And if you're not home, they can always bring the dog here, and then we'll get a hold of you. Maybe you're working or you're away, and we'll arrange for you to get them back home.
Because the vets also keep track of the numbers. If I had my dog chipped here, you would keep track of the number that was in him.
Absolutely. Yes, we keep a record. All veterinarians will keep a record of the microchips they give. And as well, Pet Track is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're just like us. They never close.
You're going to show us the lab now and tell us about some of the kind of high-tech veterinary care that you offer your patients.
Sure, absolutely. Let's take a look.
As this is a full care veterinary services center, what are some of the lab tests and some of the possibly high-tech procedures you provide here for pets?
Well, the lab equipment nowadays is high-tech, and in some ways not necessarily high-tech, as we have a microscope. A lot of times the doctors will utilize just a basic microscope to make diagnoses, and other times they need this very high-tech lab equipment. And for example, in the next room over, we have a digital x-ray system. So nowadays there's no films like we were used to seeing when we were kids. It's all computerized. And the great thing about the lab equipment here is the doctors can get results right away. And Golf Rose also runs 2 pieces of every lab equipment that they have. So let's say your dog is having some routine blood work done, and then an emergency comes in and the emergency doctor needs blood work right away. At times these machines can take 15 or 20 minutes to run a test, and the doctor needs to know right now. So we do keep 2 levels of everything so that the doctors can keep going if they need to in an emergency situation.
And as with the Pet Lodge, are you all animal care here? Birds and reptiles and...
Yes, we do care for. We have 2 veterinarians that treat birds and reptiles. We have Dr. Kurzea and Dr. Muskell. They will treat birds and reptiles. Some of our other vets do, but they tend to really focus on it. And all the vets work on all other small animals, dogs and cats.
How many vets do you have on staff?
We have 10 veterinarians on staff.
So, and you're staffed full 24/7?
Yes, there is always a licensed veterinarian here at Golf Rose around the clock.
Well, what is our next stop?
Our next stop is the new hospital.
So we've seen the new Pet Lodge and the current animal hospital, and in the background here we see what's going on for the future of Golf Rose. Tell us a little bit about it.
All right, what you see here is a new animal hospital that is going up. It should be complete in about 6 or 8 months, and we're excited to have it. It provides a lot more room for our staff to work. It also provides some additional exam rooms as we've outgrown our current facility, and we just need a little bit more space. And we're just looking for a new look and also more room to work in.
And what will happen to the current hospital?
We haven't decided yet what we're doing right here yet, but we know very shortly we will be right next door.
So Chip, we're a little closer here. What are some of the features of the new hospital?
Well, what we've got in this new hospital, we have a much more accessible hospital. For instance, our emergency patients, a lot of patients that come in for emergency need lab work right away, and they need diagnostic imaging right away, x-rays. And so what we've done is make it where if we have an immobile pet or a very ill pet, they can get into our x-ray center quickly, and we can begin diagnostics right away. So quicker care, easier care, means we can get that animal home sooner.
Well, you sure have the full range of pet services and pet care. And anything else you would like to tell our viewership at the Park District today?
We love having the partnership with the Park District. We enjoy working at the dog park, and we hope to continue and have a lot of fun with it.
And with the holidays coming up, how soon would you recommend that people get their boarding reservations in?
With holidays, the sooner the better. At least a month in advance for holidays. During the week and off-peak times, you generally can get a little bit closer, but holidays, you want a good month ahead.
Well, thank you for joining us today on Because.
Thank you.